Things just keep getting worse for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and despite losing Game 7 and thinking things have hit rock bottom, we now have some crazy comments from players on the opposing team regarding the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I'm going to break that down in this episode, as well as some comments regarding Sheldon Keefe, and some Boston Bruins players as well made some other comments. So I'm going to break all that down. Before we do, quick reminder, hit the subscribe button. If you're a part of the 78% who aren't subscribed, make sure to hit the button. I am back in my studio, so the quality will be better and good for the videos for the foreseeable future. But Darius, there's a lot to go over today, and things just keep getting worse if you're a Leafs fan. It seems like we're a part of a circus at this point. Obviously, we are at the NHL. We're kind of like the laughing stock right now after losing in round one for another year. But a comment dropped today that really had everyone kind of surprised about what he said here. And this is Matthew Tkachuk, of course, the Florida Panthers player, who the Leafs would have played if they advanced. But he said, quote, "Without this coming out too badly, I think we all knew it was probably going to Boston the way that series was going. I think throughout the whole series, we were probably expecting they were going to come out and win it one way or another." And, I mean, quite frankly, it doesn't sound great if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan to have. I mean, there's a lot of videos. We're going to be covering some other things. But regarding this, Darius, I mean, I don't even know how to feel. I'll let you take over here. It's a very interesting one.
Yeah, well, just a reminder, if you're not a Leafs fan and you're tuning into this, and even for Leaf fans, just a reminder that everything is about the Leafs all the time, apparently, because I don't know why Matthew Tkachuk had to throw this in there, but he's getting his shots in, which is fine. I mean, he's a winner. Went to the Stanley Cup final last year, beat the Leafs, and he beat the Bruins last year, too, with the Florida Panthers, and it looks like they'll probably do the same thing again this year and make their way to the conference final. But, yeah, the Leafs are catching strays in their press conference this morning, and again, it's more like if you're the Leafs and Leaf fans, you should get angry about this in the way that, like, not whining or anything like that about, oh, why would he say that? Like, you should get mad and want to win instead, want to beat that player. And the Leafs just are never up for the challenge. So as a fan, you should be furious about that. You should expect better. And there's a lot of bulletin board material like this for the Leafs over the last couple of years. Actually, not even the last couple of years, last like 8 years, a lot of bulletin board material like this. And you're losing space. There's a great tweet too that we're going to show that you're losing space on the bulletin board of stuff. You have to start, countering it and actually playing well. And then you can have your own stuff that you can throw towards other teams and other fan bases, and which is all in good fun and all that stuff, right? But the Leafs just don't do it. So listen, until you have retaliation, people are going to take shots like this. And honestly, it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny, but as a Leaf fan, you should expect better. It is a little upsetting.
Yeah, and obviously Leafs were up or down 3-1 and they came back. But I mean, he said, you can read the quote, throughout the whole series they thought that the Leafs were going to lose because I guess other teams aren't scared of the Leafs, and that's a problem. I mean, do they really have a reason to be scared after? I mean, they won one round since like 2018 or something crazy like that, and it's just been a disaster for the Leafs. I mean, this season, losing in Game 7 was probably the worst for the PR of the front office and everything like that, because now everyone and all eyes are pointed towards the Leafs. But let's get into some of the other screenshots we have here, saying a lot of people in the mention saying this Tkachuk quote should be the bulletin board material for the Leafs. The thing is, this at minimum is probably the 7th or 8th time a quote like this has come out after they've gotten eliminated. That bulletin board has no more room. And you think back to what we mentioned in yesterday's video in 2021 when you had people calling for the Leafs core to be gone in 2021. And I'm sure there was tons of bulletin board materials way back then, 3 years ago. Nothing changed, and it ended up being the exact same thing. And now we're having quotes like this where teams probably want to play the Leafs in the first round, in the second round, because they seem, and their core seems to be unable to win games. And you just look at the reactions across Twitter. You're saying, woke up this morning feeling like I just lost a Game 7 and bowed out of the playoffs early. This team doesn't deserve its loyal and long-suffering fans. Why do I do this to myself? And I'm sure that's the sentiment of a lot of Leafs fans right now, but you were right on the money with the bulletin board thing. I mean, at some point, they have to actually win so that way we're somewhat feared. It doesn't even matter if we're feared. We got to win a series so that way the Leafs and the fans, us included, can be rewarded for what we've had to go through for a while.
Well, listen, if you look at the Florida Panthers too, before they got Matthew Tkachuk, there was not a lot going on there. They were on the opposite end. They were like what the Leafs are right now, completely on the other end of the spectrum. And as soon as they get Matthew Tkachuk, and honestly a few other players for that matter, they kind of turn things around, and now they're a team to be feared. And the Leafs need to get to that level. And I know people are going to laugh at that, but listen, it's totally possible if you blow it up, and not blow it up, but, make some necessary changes. And they're going to have to do that because it's clearly not working the way it's built. But Florida was in a similar situation where people took shots at them and all that stuff, and they weren't built to win. And they made the necessary changes to win. And now they're a feared team. The Leafs have to get to that level. They're just not winning. The fan base, the Leaf fans that pour money into this, deserve better, deserve a product like the Florida Panthers are now putting on display the last 2 years, something like that. And it's just not there. The necessary changes need to be made, and that's just the fact of the matter. The Leafs need to start being able to come out on top and having moments like that for themselves instead of always being on the receiving end and honestly having nothing to say about it. Matthew Tkachuk says that, and again, it's going to go on a bulletin board of things you should get mad about and want to win, and it's just not going to happen. At least we haven't seen it. Like I said before, huge sample size examples of why that just won't happen unless things change dramatically.
Yeah, things are going to change, but all these quotes coming out today kind of just goes to show how crazy things can get when you are unable to win, and then other teams see that, and even the Leafs themselves. I mean, we saw the comments in today's earlier video. I mean, people on the Leafs, they believe in the core, but things haven't really gotten better, and that's why it's getting so ridiculous. And you have even Brad Marchand after the game yesterday saying, just belief. What a legend. And I mean, Brad Marchand's a very interesting player, but it's very unfortunate if you're a Leafs fan. It seems like I wake up and things just keep getting worse regarding Leafs getting, I guess, hated on is the word, or I don't even know, and it's rightfully so. They lost another Game 7. You have Sheldon Keefe, who's under even more fire now. He definitely pumped the Leafs up with his pregame speech. Going to be refreshing when Craig Berube takes charge behind the bench, and that's for a discussion for another video. But fans are upset, fans are fired up, and things just, I mean, they're not getting any better. Obviously, we have the rest of the offseason now to hopefully make some changes to be able to get to the point where they can not lose in round 1. We have the core, not the core 4. We suspect the core 4 will be gone, but Darius, fans just seem to have absolutely had enough of this team.
Yeah, fans are furious and fans are fed up, and they really should be, because like this shows, the Leafs are exactly who we think they are. They have not changed. The core 4 needs to change, in my opinion. Something needs to change because you keep tweaking around the edges, and it's just clearly not working. You're getting the exact same results. So when you get the exact same results every single time, even though you've tweaked literally everything else, what is the problem? I think we found it, right? Well, it's a mix of a few things, and it's a bad mix, I think, of everything in the organization right now. But fans are fed up. They should be. They deserve better. And even with the Brad Marchand thing, like I could see him being a little cheeky. Maybe he just actually meant to say belief, right? But I could see him being a little cheeky like that. The Leafs don't have anything to stand on the opposite side of that, right? To be able to throw something like that at another team. They never have that, right? So you need to work towards getting something like this, because other teams are able to dunk on the Leafs every single time, and it's getting exhausting for fans. So and the Sheldon Keefe thing too, that speech where he says have fun with it. It's Game 7, whatever it is. It's just, I feel like they might need a motivator, a more motivating coach in that room to get this going, even if they keep the core 4 together, which I think would be a bad idea, again, in my opinion. They need probably another voice.
Yeah, and that's a discussion for another video that'll come very soon. But let us know what your thoughts are in the comments on all this. Very wild. This is kind of blowing up right now, so I figure we cover it. But yeah, that'll wrap it up. Hopefully you're all at least having some fun with everything that's coming out, and make sure to hit the subscribe button. We'll see you soon.